Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is our Lucha Underground review. And this episode saw everything from the return of Johnny Mundo to Mill and Phoenix tagging up, and Reclusa versus Pentagon Dark in a phenomenal main event with a message sent by our Lucha Underground champion, Marty the fucking Moth Martinez. I thought it was a stupendous episode of Lucha Underground as we near the end of season 4. Let's get my cohort and commentary thoughts. Ashton, what do you think of this episode?
Stupendous, stupendicular. It was amazing.
Listen to your face right now.
Dude, I honestly think the two matches that we got tonight, the tag match and the main event, were two of the best matches of the entire season.
I would completely agree with you on that point. I don't even know which one I liked more between the internet match and the tag match, because they both just had their own qualities that really made them stand out. And I can't wait to unpack both of them. With that said, man, are there any other preliminary remarks you want to make?
I don't think so, man. This was just a really fun episode, really beginning to end. I guess if there's any downside, it's that I don't think we had any cinematics, but we did have a couple of little talking segments in the ring and some, like I already mentioned, some great matches. So yeah, I'm telling you, man, I feel like they're saving all of their cinematic budget for the end of the season, where they're going to just drop a bomb on us and it's going to be like, oh, by the way, Jake Strong is a fucking god, or oh, by the way, Antonio Cueto has been Dario in disguise the whole time, or something like that, like something crazy that we either might have been expecting but felt like it was too far-fetched to really buy into, or something that we just didn't expect at all.
Right. I definitely see where you're coming from, man. I've started to have some more thoughts myself, where just those final 5 minutes, because Lucha Underground knows this is their 4th season. They know that the really die-hard believers that, consume the product, talk about this and that, we know that we've kind of established their reputation for those final 5 minutes every season. And I think they're really banking on that. They are going to throw so much at us that we're just going to be like, whoa, we need a minute just to really take it all in. So yeah, I definitely think that for them, they're going to try and toe the line of the whole less is more philosophy. And then just when the time is right, unload everything. So with that said, speaking of unloading everything, let us get into our Lucha Underground review. And we open this baby up in the ring with the band L43 as Matt Striker.
Or El 43.
Look at you, Dora the Explorer motherfucker over here. And we got Matt Striker and Vampiro running down the show, running down Ultima Lucha Cuatro. Yeah, I can do Spanish too. Talking about the cards, which
that was the most English-ass pronunciation of Spanish words, though.
You shut your face. But no, the card's looking great.
Oh, hey, John, can we go get some tacos tonight?
Fuck that. But the card's looking great.
How about some quesadillas?
Okay, we get the point. Jesus Christ. But yeah, we cut to the ring and we see Taya, and me, much like hearing you mock me just now, wasn't looking very happy. So what did Taya have to say, Ashton?
Taya demanded Antonio Cueto's old ass get out there. He is. He's so old and he's so in the way. So he does, and when he gets out there, she demands a match with Matanza Cueto. And he's just like, oh, you're a woman that knows what she wants, but what I want is a sacrifice to the gods.
Yes, and then Matanza comes out. Taya, though, immediately on the attack, because as she told Antonio, I'm wera loca. And, I'm going to beat his ass, more or less. So they fight. Taya looks pretty impressive here. She even gets her knees in there in the corner. And Matanza, though, just no-sells everything because he is just a behemoth. And it seems like he's going to get Taya in Wrath of the Gods when we get the return. And, God, I needed this fix so fucking bad. Of Johnny Mundo gets a jumping super kick. Why? Because he's 10 times better than Shawn Michaels and 50 times better than Dolph Ziggler. And if you don't agree, you're wrong. Okay? Jumping super kick to the face. seated running knee strike, and then just these mount punches where he is laying those forearms in Matanza's wait for it, face.
Oh,
and it's amazing.
Jesus.
It is fucking just seeing him beat that ass and interrupting the sacrifice. God, this was so good. See, this is what I have to commend Lucha Underground for. They gave me what I wanted, several seasons back. In fact, it was season 1 with the Mundo heel turn. And then only now does he come back around to being a technical, but it never felt contrived. It never felt, inorganic. And he's still keeping that edge. He's still keeping that cockiness. He's just, again, doing it to people that really fuck with him first. So, like, Reptile Tribe transgressed. He reacted. Matanza transgressed. Well, really, Ricky, but Johnny won't know that. And I'm curious, because we're going to get to that later, actually, how that's all going to go. They're reacting. And I think that's really how you handle something like this. You've got to make them more reactive than active in a heelish way. Yeah. And I think it's really worked well for Mundo and Taya, because they're pretty soon going to be all what's left of Worldwide Underground. I hope PJ doesn't really get any kind of crossfire. And yeah, I loved it, man. And really just to kind of like leap ahead here, it does get announced that it is going to be Mundo versus Matanza in a Sacrifice to the Gods match at Ultima Lucha Quattro. And I can't fucking wait for it. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. I've wanted to see these two work. Really, I've wanted to see Mundo work with guys like this. Like, still one of my dream feuds is Mundo versus Mil Muertes. Yeah, I think that'd be amazing. So seeing him work with Matanza, I'm psyched. I think it's going to be phenomenal. I think it could really be one of the better matches on the Ultima Lucha card, which really in this case is saying something beyond my Mundo bias, because this card legitimately, with or without him, looks impressive. But of course, me being the guy I am, I desperately wanted him on the card, and this is a great match. I mean, you seemed really down on my original theory that it was going to be Mundo versus Ricky Mundo at Ultima Lucha 4, but you actually seem far more into this. Am I right? Are you hyped for this?
Oh yeah, very much so. I'm very excited for this, and we even found out later on in the night that Ricky Mundo most likely is still going to have an Ultima Lucha match, and I'm extremely excited about his too. So I'm really glad that they didn't do Ricky versus Johnny, because I feel like this is a far, far better outcome.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I got to praise Lucha Underground too, because to me, I still feel like Ricky and Johnny almost have to cross paths, given how obsessed with Johnny he is. But
at the same time, like, I guess we'll just talk about it now, but I love that Johnny is kind of letting Taya handle her own business, and she is taking shit into her. Well, hopefully, I'm hoping she takes things into her own hands and kicks Ricky's ass herself for ruining her wedding.
Right. Because here's the thing. Either you give Taya a great moment in this, and I think what will be the first, right, intergender match at an Ultima Lucha.
Well, it depends, because we have had intergender action on Ultima Lucha before with, Black Lotus versus El Dragon Azteca Jr.
Oh, that is true, yeah.
Ivelisse as a member of the Unlikely Trio in their matches that they've had. I think they've had, really, now that I think about it, just the one against the Disciples at Ultima Lucha 1. But there have been intergender matches before on Ultima Lucha. This is the first time since season 2, though, I believe.
Okay. So I just didn't know if it was the first, though, just in terms of a one-on-one context. But you are right about Black Lotus and El Dragon Azteca.
Yeah, and the thing is, that match got cut short. Pentagon attacked in that match, so we didn't really get the full match.
Right. That's probably why I thought that this was more significant than it is. But either way, it's a huge opportunity for Taya, because she could win and really just kind of have the triumph in her own story, which I think would be good. Or if Lucha Underground really wanted like that natural progression to Mundo versus Ricky by having Ricky beat Taya, I could understand that too. I think Taya should be the bigger priority as a talent, given how long she's been in Lucha Underground, the fanfare she has. But again, it's going to really be Lucha Underground's call. So I really do like that. In fact, while we're just discussing it, I mean, let's get right to it, because wasn't that our second matchup? The whole Famous B segment, or no?
Yeah. I mean, we did have, or no, actually, that was our third match.
Okay, so we'll get to that a little later, but we'll revisit everything we said here. For now, let's move on. So what was our second match?
Yeah, so before we do get to our second match, we get a rundown of the Ultima Lucha 4 card, and it's Mundo Matanza, Sacrifice of the Gods match, Killshot, Son of Havoc, Mask versus Mask, Marty Pentagon, Cero Miedo, Mil Mac Death Match, and Phoenix EDA Jr. 2 out of 3 falls. So, hell of a loaded card. I cannot wait. And it's 3 weeks away, dude.
Yeah, dude, that's freaking awesome. And yeah, I can't wait. I think it's going to be a phenomenal show.
Yep. I'm really excited about Ultima Lucha this year. And then honestly, I loved Ultima Lucha last year, and I kind of do have reason to be a little more skeptical about this year's because Ultima Lucha 2 was kind of a letdown a little bit, but Ultima Lucha Trace was awesome, and this is looking like it's going to be closer to Trace than Dos.
Yeah, dude. See, that's the crazy thing. For as like many hits and misses as this season has had, and I would say for us, like it's had a few more misses than most. This could actually be the season with one of the best Ultima Luchas, and that's just kind of mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, they're really going out of their way to absolutely load the Ultima Lucha card with not just a lot of matches, but really quality matches. And they're doing an amazing job of putting stipulations on these matches that make them feel like an even bigger deal than they would otherwise.
Dude, I completely agree with you. I am loving how this card is coming together. And really, here's the thing. You have a great Ultima Lucha. You have a great final 5 minutes. And the hype's still going to be there for Season 5. Because even with as many rough patches as this season might have had, if they pull this off like I think they're going to in those 5 minutes, I'm already going to be salivating like, fuck, we got to wait however long for Season 5. So I'm really
and apparently the big challenge with Season 5 is finding a venue to film at, because apparently the Ice Temple was just like a one-off, like a one-season thing.
Also, I wonder what's going to happen with that now.
I'm not sure.
And I also wonder, like, if talent-wise, like if talent reserves are also going to be a problem, because we know it was kind of a revolving door this season. So I'm wondering who they're going to find for Season 5, who they'll get that's still showing stability. Like, you got to imagine a talent like Johnny's still going to be in Season 5 and stuff like that. Yeah. But, that remains to be seen. But, yeah, I'm really hoping it comes together for them the way they want, because even now, when Lucha Underground's good, I still think it's the best wrestling product out there. And it's a shame that they really just don't have the foundation and the stability to be that good, that consistently. And for a lot of reasons, through no fault of their own, because you can only do so much with a certain network or a certain budget, et cetera, et cetera. But if they just got that stability and consistency, I'm telling you, man, like, I'm not saying, and again, I always want to be careful with my words. I'm not saying they'd actively compete with the New Japan or WWE. I'm just saying that as an alternative, they are the best freaking alternative. And to me, just the best product out there, even if the actual success, the metrics of success don't immediately reflect that. And it's really a shame.
I definitely agree. I think that when Lucha Underground is at its best, it's when they are telling complex stories that would make the Attitude Era drool.
Yeah, exactly.
So I really do feel like that's when they're at their best, and they've shown a proclivity of being able to do that pretty consistently. And even this season, they've done that for the most part. But this season, it just kind of feels like they stumbled out of the starting line,
Right, absolutely. I completely agree. On that note, because I think you really said it perfectly.
And then there's also the Jake Strong problem, but he wasn't on this show, so we don't have to talk about him right now.
Thank goodness for that. So what did come after? Because I know you said that we got a little something here, breaking down the card. But then after that, what came?
Then we got to our second match of the night: Mac and Azteca Jr. versus Mil and Phoenix.
Dude, you have to go first, because I know you were raving over this, and so was I. But I want you to kind of unpack this, walk us through your.
Oh yeah. This was an awesome freaking match. Nothing surprising about that, because it's 4 excellent workers. Phoenix. Honestly, dude, and this isn't at all a spoiler because it's still 2 months away and a lot can change in that time. If we were to make a 5 fave 5s list right now, Mil would be 1, Phoenix would be 2 for me for Lucha Underground.
Damn. So Mil would reclaim his number 1 spot from Killshot.
Shit, that's right. Killshot. Oh man, see, that's the thing is like it's the recency bias because we haven't seen Killshot in a week or two, and we just got lethal doses of Mil and Phoenix, and they're both amazing. So I'm sure Killshot would make his way into that. He might even still be number 1, but Mil Mill and Phoenix, man, are just killing it. The point that I'm trying to make is Phoenix went from one of my least liked characters in Lucha Underground to a guy that I loved watching wrestle outside of Lucha Underground, but still felt like his character in Lucha Underground was holding his back, to now legitimately just straight up one of my favorite performers overall, even in Lucha Underground, because of the character change.
And dude, see, for me, I pretty much was with you. Maybe not as like into him as you were. I would never claim that, but pretty much the same baseline. Like great in ring, really can't take the character. But now that Phoenix has had this character change, I'm all about it, dude. It's now that he has a character that I'm actually invested in, I watch him work with a whole new appreciation that I didn't have before. Because just the quickness with which he moves and the fluidity with which he executes offense and just how good everything looks so good.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is too, like, I love in one way or another, like all four of the personalities here. Honestly, the person that I'm the least like fan of would be Azteca at this point.
Yeah, that's how I felt in this match too, man, because the Mac was fucking ridiculous in this match with his goddamn jumping Enziguri and his tope con hilo and his, you know, ridiculous like moonsault that he can do. Like, yeah, he's just amazing. He just does everything. And he, like, I was even, because I when I rewatched this episode today, I had my mom watching it with me, and I told her this dude was Keith Lee before Keith Lee became a thing.
Yeah, like Mac was the prototype for like what Keith Lee would later go on and be. Dude, this was incredible. I freaking love this. Seeing Mill and Phoenix on the same team, and like Lucha Underground.
And really, I would also make the argument, I think the Mac is more athletic than Keith Lee. He's not as strong. He doesn't have the power game that Keith Lee has, but he's in my opinion, without a doubt, more athletic than Keith Lee is.
Absolutely, dude. I would agree with that.
Keith Lee does some freaky shit for his size, but the Mac does some freaky shit for any size, and he is huge too.
Absolutely. I appreciated that Lucha Underground was well aware of like what they had here, because the moments of eye contact between Phoenix and Mill were so good.
Yeah, dude, yes. And when they like headbutted and were like getting their heads all like close to each other and stuff, like, yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. And apparently, according to Brothers, Phoenix did drool during his entrance. We must just not have caught it, so he's still keeping that up. And yeah, it's so freaking good. Mac went crazy with the stunners, but it never got like caricatured to me or hammy. Like I was into all of it. And then, dude, the freaking finish, like what was it? The black fire driver, the muscle buster into like the spin in the pin, and then of course the flatliner to Mac. Now, I gotta put something on you, and I want to get into your head because we know Lucha Underground isn't the conventional wrestling company, so I don't know if it means anything or not. You think it's concerning at all for Mill and Phoenix, respectively, in their Ultima Lucha matches that they pinned their opponents? Because let's remember last year, Mundo pinned Puma in an Atomicos match, but he would lose to Puma in the, well, not main event, but the world title match. So do you think them pinning their respective opponents in this tag match means that they're both going to lose? Is Mill
no. See, I don't think that they're both going to lose. I do think that Phoenix is going to lose and Mill is going to keep his streak alive.
That's kind of where I'm leaning at present. And I love Mac, don't get me wrong, but I don't know how I would feel if he would be the one to end Mill's Ultima Lucha streak.
Yeah, like that's my thing too, is like you've got an Undertaker style streak going on with an Undertaker type character here in Mill. Why would you end that for a guy who, like, don't get me wrong, I love the Mac. He's great. He's awesome. He's amazing to watch, but to me, he's that like really amazing, consistent upper mid carder. He's not like the star type. You know what I mean? Like he's not, he's not the guy that you're going to kind of push to the moon or put a rocket under. And, you know, like, I don't even know if he's ever going to win the Lucha Underground title. And I don't know if I would ever want him to, because he's so good in that upper mid card chasing role that I really don't know if I ever really need to see him hold the Lucha Underground title. He's just really great in his role.
Absolutely. Oh, dude, by the way, one thing I forgot to mention, because it's great enough that Phoenix and Mill both had their finishers on their respective opponents, but the eye contact they had with each other with the double pin.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, God, yes. That was amazing.
Dude, I'd say this was so much better than any right to be, but it had every right to already be fucking spectacular given the people involved.
Yeah, dude, because it was just loaded. Like the names alone, this match was amazing.
And it's crazy because, like, I know with every Lucha Underground story, I think it kind of adheres to the basic premise of pro wrestling that good should triumph over evil. And I'm not even saying this as a scumbag thing. Honest, I'm not. But I don't know if I want Phoenix to go back. Like, I don't know if I want.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I was even thinking, like, if they could find a way to just like extract Katrina's essence from him, because I don't think Harley is done with Lucha Underground. I'm hoping she's still going to be around, and Katrina as a character is going to be back. So if they could find a way to like extract the essence of Katrina from Phoenix's soul, I hope she scars him, man. I hope he stays at least with a little bit of an edge. I really don't want him to go back to the like John Cena, Superman, White Knight character that he was, because that really was the only thing stopping me from absolutely loving him, and that has been proven by this run.
I mean, look, I'll be honest. I'll put my cards on the table. We have been shown since the earliest days of Lucha Underground, when they first started interacting, Katrina and Phoenix, that these two are soulmates.
Yeah.
Let's finally get them together in like a union of hell or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like, keep Dark Phoenix, get Katrina extracted, but have him become the new Mill, except Katrina actually enjoys it.
Yeah.
I never really felt like she enjoyed it with Mill, you know? It was always this.
It felt more like she was doing him like labor
to meet her own ends. It was like a means to an end. But with Phoenix, it's an end unto itself because she's with the man she's always wanted to be with. And I find that fascinating. Imagine two people that genuinely love each other.
It's like a fairy tale ending for bad people.
That's just it. But see, like, I'm so glad you said it that way, because that'll be like our reference point, because you put it so straightforwardly. That to me is fascinating. Because that never really happens. So these bad people getting their fairy tale ending, which is horrible for the rest of us, but that's what makes it so good. Like, and I don't know if Lucha Underground would want to do this, but like, it leads to interesting things for the Melissa character, because will that scar her in some way? Seeing Phoenix make the active, conscious choice, like, no, I've always loved Katrina, and I could.
Oh, what if Melissa runs to Mill?
That could be, right? And
imagine that intergender tag team match: Melissa Santos and Mil Muertes versus Katrina and Phoenix.
I can buy it, though. That's the crazy thing. Like,
but the thing is, though, like, and that would be such an interesting dynamic, because then Mil would have to be the face, and like, I fucking love face Mil because he's so good at pandering to the crowd and getting those cheap pops in the matches. Like, I just love Mil, no matter what. But the idea of him being a babyface is awesome.
I think you could have a situation here where, and I'll be truthful, like, there are only two ways I would be okay with Mil's streak at Ultima Lucha ending, and that's either to a talent that you really want to invest in and give that pat on the back that's earned it, and you want to build the company around, or narratively, if Phoenix was the one to do it because life means death.
Right, because that would have been like Kane being the one to break Undertaker's streak.
Exactly. So
I think a lot of us felt like that would have been the most appropriate way to end the streak.
Absolutely. So, like, I just see so much possibility here, and it's so good. And just for him to go back to being like, well, I won't kick a woman in the face, but I'll fight to the very end. When, like, because with this character, because before, and I even said this, with Boy Scout Phoenix, as I'll call him, with White Knight Phoenix, as I know Hypothesis pejoratively refers to him, I always felt like his best matches were with Mill. I don't think that boundary exists anymore with this Phoenix. I expect him to have an Amaze Balls match with El Dragon and Azteca, because it has a character that can necessitate those kinds of matches. I feel like he's so constricted as a technical, which is weird because his offense is so exciting, but god damn, this is my crack right here. Everybody is so good right now, which is kind of what makes this season, because of all the structural issues, so frustrating. Because Killshot, Jesus Christ. Marty the Moth, Jesus Christ. Johnny Mundo, enough said. Like, everybody is on point right now.
Yeah.
And I think we're really on the cusp of seeing something special. I mean, this is only like the second match, and we've almost gone like a half hour, simply because we just can't stop gushing over both what is on the horizon and what could be in the further future with all the pieces they have in place. I love this. And oh, by the way, just because we talked about it so much, like during Rocket League and stuff, I still would not be opposed if Lucha Underground could find a suitable third person to maintain this synergy. And if Phoenix Mill and whoever the third person would be would go after the trios titles, good luck everybody else.
Yeah, that would be sick.
Jesus Christ. But I'm done fangirling. I do not apologize for it. This was fucking amazing. What came after this?
After this, we got a beautiful Brenda Famous B in-ring promo. Famous B talks about how he was made to feel more vulnerable than he ever did before when he was attacked with Matanza at the wedding, and he never wants to feel that vulnerable again. So he signed a big-time exclusive contract with himself because he's coming out of retirement. And then Ricky Mandel comes out, and I'm not even going to go anywhere else because I want you to talk about it.
Well, actually, before we talk about it, I was like feeding you a question to kind of facilitate conversation. What do you think about Famous B coming out of retirement? Are you for this? Were you kind of
yeah, man, it's pretty cool. I mean, I hope that he's not coming out of retirement so that he can be exclusively an in-ring performer. I still want him to be a manager. Like I'm still hoping that he has contracts with, Sammy Guevara and Big Bad Steve, and I mean, he worked so hard to get that Tejano contract. You would hate to see it go to waste, and he's still got to work with Dr. Wagner, especially now that he's Silver Fox Wagner. So yeah, man, like I'm hoping that he's not exclusively in-ring wrestler now. I really enjoy his work as a manager, so I hope that he just kind of splits his time. Maybe he even joins two of his clients in a trio to try and go after the trios titles.
Yeah, dude, here's my thing. I completely agree with pretty much everything you just said. I hope he continues to be a manager because I find him trying to have the best of both worlds far more rich narratively than just him going back to being an in-ring competitor. Because I could easily see, let's just say he gets a client, I don't know, Sammy Guevara, we'll just say for argument's sake, just to move things along. And he's trying to advise Sammy, and then they could have a rift where it's like, well, how can I take management advice from somebody that doesn't even know how to win a match himself? And those kinds of things. Like, I feel like you could tell those kinds of stories with the guy trying to do both. Famous B.
But I feel like that he has a legitimate argument. Like, I might not have the physical tools to win the match, but I know what it takes to do it mentally. That's what I'm here for.
Right. And, I just feel like there could be so much good done here. I don't want him to give up the manager gimmick. That really is what got him as over as he was in the first place. Yeah. So I don't want him to, leave his dance partner, if you will. Not to say that he can't be good in ring, because that battle royal when he was still a jobber and he actually got a few eliminations, it actually lasted a bit longer than everybody. I was like, wow, this guy can actually go. That's really cool. But he's got a character now that works, and I don't want him to abandon that character. And I just want to say as a quick aside, Brenda was as hilarious as always. She was freaking.
Dude, Brenda during the actual match had me dying.
Yeah, dude. Do you remember anything that she said? Did you take any notes? Because I wish I could remember some quotes.
I didn't even take notes. I just remember at one point when Ricky was fish hooking B, she was just like, "Oh, not the eyes. He needs his eyes." It's just like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean. I'm excited for Famous B. I will say, I don't want to say underwhelmed is the word, because I genuinely do like Famous B. We've had our playful interactions, though not recently, and I love the character and stuff. But when he said that he signed a client, I've gotten so used to him being a manager, I got hyped, oh God, who did he sign this time to be like his
people?
So it was a good swerve, but I'm still hoping that he can find backup like that in the future. But moving forward, Ricky happened.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The amount of distress that I'm sensing on your end right now. I mean, if I wasn't so into Schadenfreude, it would probably have me concerned. But right now, I'm just enjoying it.
I mean, I'm proud of you, but it doesn't make it any easier. It's not even so much anymore. It should have been me, which it totally should have, for the record.
Yeah, totally.
But it's just, how can this fucking dweeb get this close to the coolest faction? Well, now I can't even say it. Ricky Mundo, successfully from the inside, has made Worldwide Underground the second coolest faction. Him and Matanza working in tandem. I'm sorry to say, and I'm going to say it here officially, Undisputed Era is officially the coolest faction in wrestling. So congratulations, Cole. Congratulations, Adam Cole. I may not be a formal member of the cult, but I might as well be drinking the Kool-Aid anyway because, you know, you fucking got it. You and your faction are the coolest thing to me in wrestling right now, and nobody even bring up to me fucking Bullet Club with Cody's fucking ass. No, it's ridiculous.
Cody is ass.
He is ass. God, aim lower. All of you, just aim lower. God.
You know, for all we can say about Jake Strong, I think that there's a legitimate question as far as who's worse between him and Cody.
Yeah, that's a conversation I'd like to have if I'm ever feeling my masochistic tendencies.
And at the same time, let's just thank Lucha Underground for not bringing in Cody. They're like the only major company in North America that has not brought in Cody Rhodes, and that makes me so happy.
Yeah, they were never at a crossroads about what to do because they know they can do better than Trav. Well, we still have to see what they'll do with Jake Strong, but I still have hope, narratively speaking. But
yeah.
Ricky comes out, pretty much tells Famous B to, you know, shut his mouth, and he's going to make an example out of him. And they have a match. I feel like Ricky got like a cheap shot here. He was really laying into Famous B. Beat him pretty quickly, honestly. It really didn't take long. And then after the match, he feels himself, right? He feels like, oh, I'm such a badass. He gets on the mic. He's like, oh, you know, it's a shame that they're out of the building because I really wanted to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm the one that unleashed Matanza and ruined your wedding. And essentially why we're getting Taya and Ricky at Ultima Lucha is because Ricky says, Taya, you know, I understand that as long as you're in the way, Johnny will never respect me as he should. So I'm challenging you at Ultima Lucha, and then I'm just going to destroy you. And he says,
he didn't say, all he said was, if you want to know what I'm going to do to you, watch this.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, if you want to know what I'm going to do to you, watch this. And then, as if the universe wasn't done kicking me in the dick, because we have Ricky impersonating my favorite wrestler of all time, the guy that got me out of the depression to remain a pro wrestling fan so that you could hear me be angry right now. Johnny Mundo did all of that. So be sure to always give your thanks to God Mundo, which I can't wait to say that in more than one context in a few weeks. He then goes and he puts Brenda in a fucking crossface. And it's at this point where I'm like, you know, if I murder this man, like, I really can't be held accountable, right? Like, if I...
You know, I almost have to wonder if the Lucha Underground writers were literally just dedicating the entirety of the Ricky Mundo character to just pissing you off.
I mean, couldn't you just give me free tickets and then tell me that Johnny Mundo wasn't at the venue? I mean, you'd pretty much get the same fucking effect. Like, I have been playing a lot of Mortal Kombat 10 lately, and fatality training has left me feeling very inspired. And I will tell you, whatever happens to Ricky Mundo, it's too good for his fucking ass. I hate him. He's probably the most successful heel in recent memory because I'm able to love everybody else. Him and Kona Reeves, God knows if they ever have a child together or they clone themselves or whatever, we are fucked, folks. Like, I don't even know what we're going to do. And then, because don't think I forgot about this. Don't think anybody that couldn't sleep last night forgot about this. I don't think Dragon Man's here, but if he is, I'm looking at you, Dragon Man. Ricky, when he's done putting the crossface on, goes over and he full-on mouth-on-mouth kisses Rosa the doll. So, like, I know... Please, we've had James in chat for years, so we've learned about all kinds of sexual acts, you know, bestiality and all this other stuff. But this is man on inanimate object. Well, I guess more possessed object. So, like, what the fuck? What's going to happen with that now? Is he going to look at Taya as maybe a potential vessel? Is he gonna find a vessel for Rosa? Is a vessel even in their interest? Maybe Rosa likes being a doll. Maybe it's like the same conclusion Chucky came to in Seed of Chucky. Like, I'm fucking infamous. I don't have to get old. I don't have to die. I don't have to succumb to disease. Like, this can be my life. Maybe Rosa feels the same way. Being human is overrated. I don't know. All I know is that they locked lips, and that was weird. That was weird to me. I want to punch him in his face, and honestly, I can't wait for Taya to get her hands on him, and if there's anything left, I can't wait for Johnny to wipe him off the fucking map so I never have to look at his smug face again. And if this was me, I'm both flattered that my craziness would inspire actual mainstream product, but I'm also a bit offended. My hair is 10 times better than that son of a bitch, and my abs are more impressive. So that's all I have to say. Very angrily, I might add. Sir, do you have anything you want to add?
Oh, yeah, I actually wanted to ask you a question. You're always the one asking me questions. I wanted to ask you, what did you think of Ricky's finisher?
You know what? Oh, you mean sunlight parking? I actually thought that was impressive.
It wasn't really like a reverse. It was like a reverse chinlock driver or like a reverse chinlock DDT. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, I mean, it actually looked genuinely good. And again, dialing it back, I do see potential for a great heel character here because not only is he deranged, but it's actually that rare instance in Lucha Underground where like the supernatural and like just the kind of unhinged more generally, it's with, and again I use this word, it's with a fucking dweeb. Like it doesn't look cool. It's annoying. Like you still want to punch him in the face, controlled or not. You know, whether he has the doll or not, it's just he has that unlikability factor that, I mean it as far as the heel performer as a compliment because it's like, wow, he doesn't even have this cool factor to him. Like even Marty with what he did tonight, you can't tell me that Marty doesn't at least have that edge to him that's at least attractive to witness, to experience. Yeah. With Ricky, it's like, man, I want to field goal kick this dude in the fucking dick. Like, it's really something. It's really something that Lucha Underground has managed to pull this off. Because I genuinely hate this fucker. So, the finisher looks great. He's really got it down where he's just not likable to me in the slightest. You can look at our chat and they feel the same way. Maybe there's a Ricky Mundo fan, and I just want to make perfectly clear that I am not judging you and I'm not kicking you out of this space. Anybody can like what they like, of course. But, I do think that there's this universal loathing from what I'm seeing for Ricky, and I think that's very impressive. So, finish looked great. I think him and Taya could really do something special. I'm even curious, like, how they're going to interact, because Taya may even look at him like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And Ricky may just be, like, hyper-aggressive. I don't know. I really don't know. But we still got a few weeks before that, because you said 3 weeks. So, we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, what came after this?
After this, we got Reclusa versus Pentagon Dark. And, by the way, I did take a note. Reclusa is billed as being from the Wicked Web.
Ooh. All right. I dig it.
And yeah, I love her. And I just love her overall as like her entire, the performer is great. The portrayal is great. The presentation is great. Everything just clicks with Reclusa to me.
Yeah, dude, I actually really wanted you to like go all in on your discussion of this match because I know how praiseworthy you were of it. And I feel like I couldn't do it justice with how good like you felt about it, like in the aftermath. And I know you did rewatch this show. So did it hold up for you as well the second time? I guess that's the leading question that I'll have to really start this discussion for you.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I won't say it was better the second time because as much as I did enjoy the match, I was kind of like a little bit thrown off earlier on in the match because when they're on the outside and Pentagon is like, like interacting with the fans and he, tosses her and then he goes up into the bleachers and does the pose with the fans and stuff like that. Vampiro kind of really goes out of his way to be like, oh, Pentagon could have destroyed her, could have beaten her a long time ago, but he's just toying with her. And that like had me like, really? Like, it seems like she's kind of doing a really good job and it's kind of back and forth and Vampiro's, but then like, that's a character thing. Like the Vampiro is a Pentagon fan. We've got to remember that.
Right.
And, I mean, even if we want to say that, oh, that's like a narrative point that Lucha Underground wanted to push because of how strong they want to keep Pentagon, she kicked out of the fucking Fear Factor on the apron. Like they went out of their way to make sure that she felt legit as hell too. And that was extremely successful, in my opinion. They did a great job of keeping her strong without making Pentagon look weak.
I don't know if Jackie ever goes and listens to these, but if she does, congratulations, Jackie. I'm finally sold on Chelsea Green as a performer. Because I saw the Laurel Van Ness stuff, and some of it hit, but honestly, a lot of it, I found to just be a bit over the top. Which is, crazy given the price.
And you have more of a tolerance for that kind of stuff than I do. So I'll tell you right now, I've never been into the Laurel Van Ness character, but I know there are a lot of people who are. And because of that, I also know that it works the character itself isn't a bad one. It's just not something that I enjoy. So that tells me,
yeah,
like I've kind of been saying, Chelsea Green is just a really good character actress. Like she just knows how to invest completely into whatever character it is that she's portraying, whether it's just, Chelsea Green, the wrestler, or Laurel Van Ness, the hot mess, or Reclusa, the spider lady. She's amazing at and she's a damn good wrestler, and she's amazing at just fully investing in whatever character she's playing and really taking it all the way, and she's great at it. So yeah, props to her. Props to Lucha Underground. Really, this is just a success, a rousing success all the way around as far as I'm concerned.
One more thing I want to say about Chelsea, because we always talk about this with guys that like maybe do a few suplexes or a few like nice looking takedowns. Like, oh, do they have a collegiate background? I wonder if she has a theater background in college or something. Like, I wonder if she was ever into theater. I wonder if she was ever into performing arts. I'd be very curious to know that. And really just her whole story when it comes to wrestling, like who her influences, stuff like that. But outside of that, the only reason I'm saying all this is it has been confirmed she's going to NXT. I'm happy for her. I'm going to really tell you guys what I told Ashton before we went live. The human being, Chelsea, the person that's really working hard, honing her craft and stuff like that, I'm happy for her. I am. I'm happy for anybody that succeeds and goes where they want to go. Doesn't always have to be WWE, but if it is WWE, mazel tov. As a Lucha Underground fan, it hurts. And I can't lie about that, because you see a match that's this good. You see her look this good to where she kicks out of an apron Fear Factor, which was probably one of the biggest pops I've had this season with like a false finish. That was so well done, because we've been so conditioned, like one and done with the Fear Factor. And not only was it a Fear Factor, again, on the fucking apron. So like when she kicked out, it's like, man, Marty, you know how to pick them, because the tough as fuck. And, then she gets.
And by the way, I also do really want to praise Pentagon too, because he now, as far as I'm concerned, Pentagon has been the male half of the two best intergender matches we've ever seen in Lucha Underground.
Right. That's true too. That's a great point. Yeah, I got to give him his due, regardless of how I feel about him personally. He got it done here.
Yeah, because whether it's him in this match or him against Hitokiri, he has been the male side of the two best intergender matches. Like, yeah, that's, I don't know if it's just because he's the one random guy that they are cool with having long matches with women, or if it's because he wants to have these longer matches with women, or because he just knows how to work with the women. I don't know what it is, or maybe it's just because it's like a luck thing where he just happens to have had these two matches against these really great in-ring wrestler women, and they get time, and it just ends up being great, because that's just kind of how it works when you put two good in-ring workers together. I don't know why it's happened, but Pentagon has been the male half of the two best intergender matches Lucha Underground has had. So props to him, and really props to Chelsea here for this match. Reclusa, it was great.
Yeah, man. And I will say too, just to kind of as a tag on to your Pentagon commentary, I thought I remember seeing or hearing a few years back like that he had a big AAA match with Taya that was like insane. So yeah, I mean, I guess he just has this history, and more power to him. The Reclusa getting the low blow and the flipping pile driver, that was a great false finish. And then ultimately the match does end with the jumping Fear Factor, which was the 3 count. But you know what though? Like this really was a case of Pentagon, to me, not necessarily being OP. Like I wasn't as annoyed with him, probably because Reclusa was allowed to really look good and really look competitive. And another thing too that's important to keep in mind, if Reclusa can kick out of an apron Fear Factor, and she's kind of like the second hand to Marty, who's the champion, that tells me that Marty's probably going to look really tough in their Cerro Miedo match at Lucha, which also excites me, because I want these two to take each other to the absolute fucking limit, because both guys look good. And then presumably when Marty gets the win, which I've been trumpeting my horn about for weeks, that just legitimizes Marty in the biggest way. And to go into season 5 with him as champion with a win like that under his belt is huge for him. And speaking of, we get Pentagon after the match looking to do the arm break, but then Marty comes in with a barbed wire baseball bat and starts going to town on Pentagon. which is amazing. He hits him in the back. He jumps with it in his hand and like hits him like in the head with the barbed wire bat. Just to me comes off great. And then Reclusa, who's regained her faculties, she goes under the ring. She gets like a can of gasoline. Marty douses Pentagon in the gasoline. He lights the lighter, and I love the timing of everything because he's got the lighter. He's bending down. The credits are rolling. We know it's almost going to be 9. Is he going to do it? Isn't he going to do it? And then he says, not yet. Blows it out, and there's the logo. Like, this is the magic of fucking television when you can create an atmosphere like that. Yep. And Marty in his... I'm going to be freaking truthful, and this is putting, like, all my biases. This is just being, like, purely objective. In the few weeks that Marty has been Lucha Underground champion, I think he's already been my favorite Lucha Underground champion since Johnny Mundo, obviously from the very subjective Markdom point, and Prince Puma as the first Lucha Underground champion, really just as the ace, if you will. I feel like Marty has had really 2 compelling segments here, both with like the Mariposa arm break and the laying down the gauntlet, and now this. Just his, I think you even said it, like, it's the Marty the Moth character believing that he has to play the character of, like, what a champion would be like. Yeah. And it comes off looking so well. And that was such a great soundbite by you that I'm glad I remembered it, because I think we see it again here, and it just comes off so well to me. I am really loving this. I mean, dude, we already know my thoughts. We know I'm Moth Till I Die. I know you're a big fan of Marty, and we know Marty's a big fan of us. So it's a big mutual admiration society. But how did this segment come off to you? I want to get your thoughts about how Marty came off here. And just
man. I mean, dude, Marty, I think Marty came off extremely well here. I think that Marty, like, I think Dragon Man just asked why that gasoline was even there. I forget if it was about the gasoline or the thumbtacks, but one of those 2 things, Vampiro said, hey, that's mine, or I put that there, or something like that. So Vampiro's laying claim to either the thumbtacks or the gasoline. I don't remember which one it was. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, man, Marty looked so legit here. And the fact that he prevented Reclusa from getting her arm broken, and he did so with a barbed wire baseball bat. Like, yeah, he looked like a badass, man. It was awesome. And like, even the extent that he went to make it seem like, I've got you in the palm of my hand. I've literally got your life in my hands. I could light you on fire right now, but I'm not going to yet because it's not going to help me win the match. Amazing.
Which I'm so glad you put it that way, Ashton, because that brings to mind another thing that makes this segment work so well. Thank you, Lucha Underground, for making Pentagon genuinely vulnerable on the most visceral, existential level between life and death. Because now I can get invested in the character a little bit. I'm still not rooting for him. I mean, fuck that. But, you know, if I'm a casual, right, and I'm seeing this, I'm like, oh, well, you got to make him pay for, like, thinking that your life is just something he could play with at a whim. This is how you relegate somebody when they come off the main event perch. This is how you kind of reintegrate them into those stories as a vulnerable character, as a chaser more generally. I'm so glad you brought that up, dude, because I think Pentagon needed this just as much as Marty did. And that's why I think this segment works so well, because they both needed it to a high degree to me. And yeah, I think these guys can kill it. I think this could be, honestly, the best Ultima Lucha main event since Puma Mil Muertes. Because here's the thing. I liked Mundo Puma, but I don't think that was the best match they had overall. And then season 2, I was kind of pissed because I really just didn't like the idea that Pentagon wasn't main eventing. And Puma Ray was all right, but I didn't like that Ray went over. These guys right here, they could potentially outdo, with the story and everything, Puma and Mil Muertes. Now, it's also contingent on, do you like that style of wrestling and stuff? I understand there are a lot of factors. But I think these guys can really be worthy of just this position of main event. This is going to be insane, dude. I can't wait for this.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Yeah. And yeah, they're doing it's funny, man, because first 12 episodes of this season were good, but they were not Lucha Underground good. And since episode 13, it's felt like Lucha Underground good again. And it's just been excellent, with the one little hiccup of the old Nunchucks match, because that was not great, but everything else since then has been awesome.
Dude, it's so great to be talking about Lucha Underground like this again. The passion, the energy, the anticipation. I am anticipating, I'll tell you, Ultima Lucha once again, and I feel like it might have been a while because I don't know if I said this for Ultimate Lucha Trace, but Ultimate Lucha Quattro, man, my most anticipated wrestling event of 2018 so far. And really, given that there are only a few months left in the year, this might be my most anticipated event of the year, period. Because I really can't see anything on the horizon, either from New Japan or WWE, that exists within the bounds of 2018. Now, 2019, obviously, we got things like Wrestle Kingdom and WrestleMania and all that shit. But 2018, this is not only my most anticipated, I'm hoping it's the best event that we've seen all year because it looks like it's so ready to take it. And Marty looks like he's so ready to just take his next step as Lucha Underground champion. With that said, that was the main event segment. Do you have anything else you want to say, man?
I don't think so. Let's move on.
All right, guys, before we get to our final segment, you all know what that is. Let me very quickly go through plugs. First of all, our all Lucha Underground content ever playlist. Whether you're a newcomer to our Lucha Underground reviews, first of all, welcome to your new favorite wrestling podcast, or you're a seasoned listener and you just want to go back and find those treasure trove of moments, whether it's Ashton's mark out to the main event of the first Ultima Lucha, me marking out to Johnny Mundo finally winning the Lucha Underground Championship, whatever it is, it's all right there in the All Lucha Underground Content Ever playlist, so please check that out. Follow Ashton and myself on Twitter. Ashton's pinned tweet is the TWitWoW schedule for the month of October. All the recordings that we're going to do, any recordings that get added, any updates or retractions, it's all right there in the TWitWoW schedule. You're going to want to follow it. It's your best way to keep your finger on the pulse of all things TWitWoW. My pinned tweet, on the other hand, is to collect Q&A questions. Q&A is in 2 weeks' time. It's going to be October 25th. It's the last Thursday of every month. That's the last Thursday of this month. Get your questions in. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. If you do visit our Facebook page, be sure to leave a like. And Discord, which I'll get to in just a second. Everybody's permitted up to 4 questions per Q&A, and you can divide the questions up however you like. Teespring store. We have everything from Scum Squad merch to mugs to stickers to T-shirts. We have TWitWoW T-shirts if you want to support the podcast, wherever you go. And we also have wrestler-specific merch, everything from an Emma T-shirt to LIJ Andrade with Tranquilo to Braun Strowman, I'm not finished with you. All the T-shirts are there. Be sure to check it out. I think it's a wide offering and a very satisfying offering. See what fits right for you. Finally, the Patreon. You guys know our target goal is $120 a month. That is so that we can keep doing in tandem both 205 live reactions and SmackDown live reactions. We did not meet that goal this month. We were a bit under. We made just enough to do SmackDown live reactions, but not enough for the bundle, including 205 Live. The only reason that coverage is continuing is because of the generosity of our patron Super Blue, which we greatly appreciate. And that's the only reason why we're still doing 205 Live and SmackDown live reactions in tandem for the month of October. If you want that to change, if you're thinking to yourself, you know what, I like 205 live reactions and SmackDown live reactions as well. I want to keep that going. How can I help Super Blue? How can I take on some of this? The best and easiest way to do it is to donate $3 to join the TWitWoW Discord, what I call the Ultimate Fan Server Experience. There you will find the most passionate TWitWoW fans, as well as Ashton and myself, and you can talk about anything under the sun. If there's a tab for it, we're probably talking about it. We're definitely talking about it. So be sure to get in on the Discord. And if you're thinking, well, a fan server's nice, I'm part of a couple of those, they're always good, but I want more. How do I get more? Well, the thing about that is if you maintain your Discord membership for a certain period of time, you can translate that into Patreon requests. Requested commentaries or live reactions for the channel. Super Blue has made quite a few of them. In fact, very recently, he had us do live reactions to WWE Super Showdown sans the main event, which saved him a good buck. And we also had Brandon Best request very hardcore matches, these like Japanese death style matches, which you'll look at the pricing tier in the Patreon. We have specific rules for death matches. They're usually double. But again, if you pay out, we'll pony up and we'll get the recordings done. So I always use the example, if you're part of the Discord for 10 months, $3 a month, that's $30, a live reaction to a 3-hour show. I think it's a great value. In fact, so much so I call it the win-win-win-win because I feel like all parties go away happy. So if you want to help Team TWitWoW and you want to get in on what Team TWitWoW does by kind of dictating their content, please look at the Patreon, consider making a donation. We greatly appreciate it. With that said, time to get to our final segment, high spots and low shots. Man, I got to say my low shot, I'm going to say my low shot is going to be El Dragon Azteca Jr. because I know he lost with somebody but he's just been doing a lot of losing lately. I'd say more than the Mac, because at least the Mac, kind of has a plan of action, whatever. It just seems like El Dragon Azteca had a steeper fall because he was Gift of the Gods champion, and he's still free falling, and he hasn't hit the bottom, and I just don't know what's going to remain of him when he does hit the bottom. So I'm going to say Azteca is my low shot.
John, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
You're not going to ask why?
Well, I mean, I just kind of assumed that the Y was in there, but why?
Because my low shot is the entire Worldwide Underground, or what's left of it.
Wait, what? Why? Johnny Mundo kicked ass tonight. That's not fair.
Yeah, and he ended up getting into a match where he could literally die.
He's not going to. He's better than the rest of us.
It's nice to really imagine that there's no chance he's going to die, but it's Matanza, and there's still a chance that he could die.
You know what? I'm glad you don't wake up as Adam Cole.
And you didn't let me finish. And Taya has to face psychopath Ricky Mundo now. So even if we think they're both going to win their respective matches, they're both in very precarious positions, and their friends are all dead.
As leader of the cult, I thought you'd appreciate Faith a bit more than you're demonstrating right now. Where the hell is your faith in Johnny Mundo and Taya? God damn. All right.
I have faith in them, but there's still a chance that they could lose. And the people that they could lose to are fucked up in the head.
Well, yeah, there's a chance, huh? Last I checked, this wasn't the set of Dumb and Dumber. But regardless, I'll accept your low shot. And we'll just move on to the high spot, which, you know what? No, because it could be whatever, and I have my own logic. My high spot is going to be Johnny Mundo, because he returned, and he saved his wife from getting sacrificed, and he put a hurting on Matanza before he gives him permanent residency in Slamtown. I believe in you, Johnny. I stand by you until the end of time. We're going to do this. He's going to live. Taya's going to kick Ricky's ass, and everything's going to go back to the way it should be, with Worldwide Underground dominating and reclaiming their place as the most significant faction in Lucha Underground and really in all of wrestling history. So Johnny Mundo's my high spot. Who's your high spot?
I'm going to, I tell you what. She might have lost the match, but I still want to give my high spot to Reclusa, because I know she won a lot of people over, including me and you, both of us. And she avoided having her arm broken thanks to Marty coming out to save. So really great performance. She kicked out of the apron fear factor. She looked awesome. I know she made a lot of fans in that match, and she avoided having the arm broken. So high spot goes to Reclusa.
Makes perfect sense to me. Do you have any concluding remarks about Lucha Underground tonight?
I don't think so, man. I think we can close it.
All right, guys. With that said, this has been Lucha Underground. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my corner commentary action. Guys, be sure to comment on the video when it's done processing. Do you think that Johnny Mundo is going to be sacrificed at Ultima Lucha? You think Matanza is going to get the greatest feast of a lifetime by sacrificing Johnny Mundo to the gods? Do you think that Ricky is going to put Taya down, or do you think Taya is going to put Ricky back in his place? And actually, kind of a tangential question, kind of branching off, what do you think is going to happen with Ricky and Rosa? Because after that kiss, which is now forever burned into my memory and then thus contributing to my scarring, what do you think this relationship's going to develop into? What do you think the next pivot, the next turn, the next development, really, in this relationship is going to be? What do you think about Mill and Phoenix tagging up? Do you want it to remain? Do you want Phoenix to go back to normal? Do you like Dark Phoenix? Do you think that Mill and Phoenix should stick around and maybe get a third person and dominate the trios division? Talk to us, talk to us, talk to us. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this episode. I'd love to hear your thoughts about Ultima Lucha 4. I'd love to hear your thoughts about potentially Lucha Underground Season 5 and what you would like to see from that, just in the reverberations of this. But remember, please, and I should start saying this specifically with Lucha Underground reviews, no spoilers in comments. I have been very lucky not to be spoiled this season on anything, but I still remember last season when I got spoiled because of just some random comment from somebody that never showed up on our videos again, which really pissed me off. So please feel free to discuss anything you want, but avoid spoilers, not just for us, but for really the whole LU community that may happen upon our reviews. We want this to be a spoiler-free space and an empowering space where we can really enjoy our fandom with just that eager anticipation of what's around the corner. So, With that said, be sure to like the video. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top result for Lucha Underground reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like. Subscribe to your new favorite wrestling podcast if you haven't, and click the bell icon for notifications so you never again miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. And guys, we will see you again. When are we seeing him again, Ashton? Is it going to be Tuesday for the Progress Wembley show, or what are we doing?
Most likely, yes.
Okay, so Tuesday for the Progress Chapter 76 Wembley show. That's going to be at 4 p.m. Eastern time, right? Because we always do Progress at 4, so I'm just assuming that's our group.
You know what? Actually, give me just a second. I'm going to see how long that show is, because if it's longer than 4 hours, we'll go live at 3 with it.
Okay.
It is, let's see. I'm waiting to see the timestamp on it. Just give me just a second. Here we go. It's 4.5 hours, so we'll have to go live at 3 on Tuesday.
Oh, wow. Okay, so yeah, going live at 3 p.m. Eastern time, guys. Man, that show is going to be insane.
Actually, you know what? Again, there might be it's Progress, so there's a good chance they spend the first 15 minutes talking about some bullshit.
Right.
I wonder if there's an intermission. Yeah, we'll just do 3. We'll just go live at 3. That'll be fine. And yeah, Tuesday works.
Yeah, so yeah, that's when we're going live, guys. Progress Chapter 76 should be a good one. Until then, guys, we'll see you then. Tune in and peace out.